This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana makes car selling fast and easy from start to finish. Enter your license plate or VIN and get a real offer in seconds, down to the penny. If you accept, Carvana will come pick up your car from your driveway. Or you can drop it off at one of our car vending machines. Either way, you get paid instantly. It's fast, transparent, and 100% online. Car selling that saves your time. That's Carvana.
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Well, hello, this is Stephen Rothberg. I am the president. I used to be the president. I'm the founder and chief visionary officer. Different job title. You think I've gotten used to it by now. Of College Recruiter, job search site. We believe that every student and recent graduate deserves a great career. And I am thrilled to be joined here on a sort of breaking news episode of the Inside Job Boards and Recruitment Marketplaces podcast with Ken Schaefer. Ken is both the co-founder of Job Hub Central and also the CEO of Coneflower Digital. Ken, thank you for joining us. And I'll hand it over to Peter to introduce himself and to get into today's topic about all the fun stuff at Google.
I am the founder of AIM Group. We do business intelligence for recruitment marketplaces and have a wonderful RecBuzz annual conference. That's all I need to say about us. Ken, you posted on your LinkedIn page the other day about Google for Jobs search results, and it was a great screenshot. And what I wanted to know is, why don't you first tell us what you saw and what you think it represents, and then we can follow up. And we also want to get to the breaking news about Career Builder towards the end of the podcast, which gives us very little time.
Sure. Thanks. So what I saw on specifically for Google for Jobs was two things. First of all, when you're in the new sort of AI generated experience, I'm going to call it SGE. It's what search generated experience is what Google's calling it. It's not a very good user experience at all. So if I do like a very transactional search for, let's say, jobs near me or part-time jobs in New York City, right? What Google provides from an AI standpoint is not very useful for the user at all. You can't click on any of the companies that it'll list some companies that says, here's some companies that are hiring near you. You can't click on any of them. You can click on the sources for those things and you'll see that those are coming from Indeed, those company names. And I think that's sort of like that integration that people were talking about that Indeed and Zip have with Google right now in Google for Jobs. But like I said, you can't click on anything in that box. So it's a very it's not a very good user experience at all. And the job search or the Google for Jobs widget is well below the fold because that AI generated box takes up the entire screen. And the search, the Google for Jobs widget is below the fold. You have to scroll down to see it. Now, I believe that Google understands that this is not a quality user experience.
Yeah.
And for that reason, it's not the default. So what I mean by that is, if I do a query for like an informational type of a topic, like interview questions and answers, or I need a interview thank you email template or something like that, right? Google will give you some results automatically AI generated. It will automatically start firing off that kind of that box. But for these kind of transactional queries, as I would call them, where you need to kind of do something outside of Google to continue what you're to do, like apply to a job, the default experience is not the AI one. It's the same experience. It'll have a box that says would you like us to generate an AI result for it? And it will, and the result is not great. But it's not the default. So for the basic kind of queries that are sort of the meat and potatoes for a lot of the major job boards, that experience so far hasn't changed. Now, I think Google will get better at it over time, but I just don't think this is the kind of query that it thinks that the AI generated stuff is the best fit for right now. Does that make
Cool.
sense?
Yeah. So what you're talking about with like the part-time jobs near me, and it lists like 10 companies.
Yep.
That's kind of my vision of that. The screenshot that you showed it's kind of like if you go to Google and say, what is how many euros does it take to buy $1? Or what's the temperature today? It's kind of like a snippet, except what you're seeing, correct me if I'm wrong, is not what the vast majority of users sort of see. Like if I was to jump over to Google right now without any kind of early access and run a search, I wouldn't see that, right? You have early access. Is that?
Well, yes and no. What I'm saying is like, yes, I have early access to it. But what I'm saying is that even when you have access to it, if you type in that kind of transactional query, it won't automatically fire off the AI result. It'll give you the option to do it. But that's not the default view. Even when you're in the test group or you have access to all the AI stuff, or when it's completely live. If it was to go live completely today, then what you would see if you typed in jobs near me or part-time jobs near me is you would see what you normally see today. Only there's a stripe at the top that says, would you like to see a AI generated version or an answer to this question? But it doesn't automatically do it like it would if you were saying, how do I answer this interview question? Like, then it will automatically do it. Does that make sense? There's a distinction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Google has told us that they're experimenting with Google for Jobs, that they plan to strengthen it, improve it, this and that, but they've been doing that for a very long time. Do you think what you saw and what you're seeing is the next big step, or is it maybe just more experimentation on their part? Because they've been experimenting with Google for Jobs for years.
In my opinion, if they were to go live with what they have now, and say, let's say that they wanted to even default to say, I'm going to show you the AI generated version of it, it would be a huge step backwards for them right now at this point. And I'll give you an example. So like if I type in jobs near me, and
hey there, I'm Tim Boris, host of the Working Well podcast, where business strategy meets human sustainability. If you're an executive, a leader, or change maker ready to ditch burnout, build thriving teams, and drive real results, this is your next must listen. Tune in on the Work Defined Network or at timboris.com/podcast.
I don't know if you have the mental image of what it looks like, but Google will give you the AI generated results. It'll have like a couple of companies, like 10, and then off to the right, there'll be sort of these citations or these other like kind of cards that show where the information came from. And today, some of those citations are literally taking you to Indeed search results. That's a huge step backwards from the entire product of the Google for Jobs widget. Like this cannot be the experience that becomes the default standard for searching for jobs via Google. So I would imagine at some point.
So G for Jobs is still experimenting, and what you're seeing is actually a step back. But you think they'll nail it eventually?
I do. Like I only because I've seen them do it with the shopping results. You know, even in the demo, like they did it with the shopping results, right? And I think that at some point that the sort of experiences for, you know, searching for a job or shopping are going to sort of, you know, intersect. It's going to start to resemble more like the shopping experience than it is for than whatever they're doing today, right? I think there'll be some things that are unique to searching for jobs. But I think that you'll start to see that the experience starts to kind of mimic the shopping experience. I mean, think of it from a product standpoint. Like if I was a product manager, like would I want to maintain these different kind of experiences over these different verticals? Probably not. I'd probably want to standard them, kind of have something I can share across these user experiences. But
yeah, that told me. So I've got, I think, one more question about Google for Jobs, and then we want to jump over to the next topic with you before we run out of time. So so your clients with Job Hub Central and Coneflower Digital are job boards, right? So if you advise them in different ways, but one of the ways that I'm sure you're talking to a bunch of them is, what do we do about this? At a very high level, are these changes that we're seeing Google rolling out, seems like almost every day, is this an existential threat for job boards? Is this, you know what, it's kind of a tweak, you need to adapt to it? Or are there like really big things that the industry is going to have to adapt to maybe over the coming months?
So I think that the answer is twofold here. For clients who have a significant or a sizable dependency on informational queries, driving traffic to editorial content, right?
Blog articles, stuff like that.
Right. Yep. Like career advice, that kind of stuff. There's tons of that stuff, right? That's just, like I said, bread and butter for a lot of sites to supplement the marketplace traffic that they get through their inventory. That kind of stuff, like I'm having those folks look real close at that strategy, because I think that a lot of those questions are going to get answered right in the SERP, right? So like you're not going to see that traffic anymore. It's going to dry up in a lot of ways. So
just like what the temperature is, you don't need to go to weather.com for that. You can see it right on Google.
Exactly, right. Yep. It's like the knowledge graph kind of stuff, right? Where so Google's going to try to keep you there. So I'm advising folks to kind of think about ways to solve problems rather than sort of provide information, or else use the information you have to figure out how you can solve a problem differently or better than somebody else. Because right now, that's not what Google does very well with the search, is actually solve problems.
So salary calculator, career matching, things like that.
Yeah, right. Or if you can say, if you can come up with some sort of differentiator that says, even if you built your own sort of chatbot within your own site, you say, hey, my chatbot is built around all this amazing information that only we have. And then you become a destination, right? And I think that, as much as Google doesn't want to, I think it's going to create some real fragmentation around this vertical. And it's going to start driving people directly into sort of experiences rather than sort of keeping them on Google, which is their intent. I fear this is going to sort of happen. People are going to create experiences and tools and solutions that are essentially going to do to Google what happened with shopping, where now you don't really go to Google to do shopping. Like they lost that battle pretty much, right? To Amazon. I just go to Amazon, right?
Fair.
So like I'm trying to advise folks to be like, think of it that way. Like, how do you become that? Right? Because I don't know. Like I find the Chat GPT stuff to be a lot more compelling than what Google has right now, only because it's so action oriented. Like I can tell Chat GPT to write me an email that says X, Y, and Z, right? And it'll be beautiful, right? Maybe I'll have to make some changes, but Google can't do that today, right? And I'm sure they will, but like but like I need that end point. That's the answer I need, right? And so like,
Peter, do you want to jump in with? I know you wanted to get a career builder question in before we have to jump
45
off.
seconds before we wrap up. Career builders being sold for parts. They just announced, or Broadbean just announced, Veritone just announced they're buying Broadbean. They sold their international sites a few weeks ago. What do you think? Career builder done, or is there something left, or what do you think? And you got 30 seconds.
Sure. So I think that they're ripe for somebody who's got a decent infrastructure, a technological infrastructure, to kind of take over the brand. I think it's the value that's left is the domain and the brand, and probably, whoever's doing the arbitrage for career builder is probably like driving the value for that company right now. And like, so like if you could say, I'm a great big website and I purchased Career Builder and I put it all on my infrastructure that I know works really well, I think that they've got a chance to kind of hang on to that brand for a little while. I don't think that the brand is dead, but like, I don't know, if I was in the market to shop, I think that you could throw a little bit of technology at that brand and kind of, and just kind of focus down on using it to drive traffic and maybe providing career advice.
Well, we are running very late on time. Sorry to cut you off,
That's
but
all right.
Steven shoots me if we go over 14 and a half minutes. We're at 14:20 now. So we're going to wrap up. Sorry. Thank you.
That's okay.
And really appreciate that you came. Steven, any last words other than bye?
Thank you for jumping on such short notice. This is going to be a
Thanks.
space to watch. People who want to learn more, connect with Ken. LinkedIn, I'm sure, is a good place. Job Hub Central. It's been awesome. Thanks so much for sharing, Ken.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.